January 15, 2026. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on a 2002 chart using NinjaTrader 8. Pretty much the chart, it was a little slower today than it was yesterday. Looks like it was a push up. For a really long time, it was pretty much just a sideways consolidation that moved roughly about 15 points. Maybe you can probably capture the whole thing between 7,015 and roughly, I don't know, 7,095, about right here. And then it kind of had a slow, gradual sell off in the afternoon. Almost looks like a really stretched M configuration. Kind of how I drew up the charts today. And I took a total of 2 trades and was profitable on both. One right here and one right here. So I'm going to get into the setups right now. Also, the only economic data that came out was around 5:30 Pacific Standard, which was the unemployment claims, right about here. But it really didn't do too much because the market was already pushing up. The overall volume was a little less and slower than yesterday because yesterday was a little choppier, not the easiest, but not the hardest. Just it provided a few more setups. And then today is kind of the same thing, but it was a little slower, but nothing particularly tricky in my opinion. Okay, so in the pre-market, prices are moving up this yellow up channel. There was a little bit of sideways consolidation. EMA is acting as a pretty strong support. It comes back down on the open and tests it the first time. It's a new high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long, it's a bad signal bar, and I wouldn't enter after the close of this bar just because it looks a little choppy. This signal bar is actually on the first minute of the open. So this, if you look at the timestamp up here, it's at 6:31 Pacific Standard. So all these candles printed in the first minute, and so it's a little more volatile, and I have to be a little more cautious. Also, it could be a localized low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. Again, it's just too early, so I'm just waiting for more price action to play out. Then prices start moving sideways, localized high, it's a first entry long pullback. Technically, I have a second entry long here. I'm not, so in real time, you have the second entry long, but the EMA isn't helpful. I didn't have this purple down channel established yet. I did have this trend line drawn because whenever I can find 2 points, one, the first start, and then the swing, I try to draw a line as a trend line, but I don't draw it as a channel just yet. I usually don't color it in, so it's like sitting transparent, something like that, and then later I color it in. I'm going to go ahead and color it back in because that's what I did later. So prices are moving down. Things are just really tight trading range. This total movement right here is only about 3 to 4 points. So I'm just waiting for something to break out more clearly or for the channel or the range to be more fully established. Break of the orange down channel, test the low, kind of consolidates. Here, when I have these 3 touches, then I also drew this and I had 2 touches. So I'm thinking I'm moving down this purple down channel. It's only a first entry short, comes down. Keep in mind this range, this blue one, which I established later, doesn't exist yet. So it's a new low. It's a first entry short pullback, second entry short, second entry short. I was thinking this red resistance might be the start of a channel because I was thinking, is there not a channel, but a range? Is there some kind of range kind of like developing in here? But I didn't, the high sides met pretty well because you have good high side, good high side, good high side, meaning that they're respecting some kind of resistance here. But the low side keeps making lower lows. So I didn't establish the low side just yet. And I was thinking I'm still in this purple gradual down channel. So fail breakout here, another fail breakout here, and what I call an almost trade. It's like a second entry short. If I can flip this over. I just go ahead and move this over. It's a new low. It's a first entry short pullback, second entry short fail breakout. I call it an almost trade because I'm not that certain that prices are necessarily going to push back down yet. Because as I said, I'm not sure I'm in a range, but I think I might be in this purple down channel. So if you decide to take this trade, it's probably good enough. But to me, I call it an almost trade. Then it pushes back up and then it gives you a lower high. So this lower high confirms your second entry short. And what paused or made me hesitate on this one, which I probably shouldn't have, was I didn't like that it closed back up. So I like the engulfing part. It pushes one tick above, pushes all the way down, and at one time it actually engulfs this guy completely with a nice strong low. But then toward the end of the candle counting down, because it's only 2,000 ticks, it rallied back up and close kind of neutral. So that gave me pause. And I said, okay, it's a second entry short here, first entry short, second entry short, lower high confirmation. I actually want to look for a failed second entry long or another lower high, if you will, inside this range. And I was hoping it was going to show up here, but it never does. So it ended up not setting up for me. Prices continue to move. It breaks to the low side, and this actually sets up for my first trade. So it's pushing down. I'm thinking, okay, there's two failed breakouts, another corresponding failed breakout. I don't think this range here is in play anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. So it's pushing down, localized low. You can see it as a low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, but I saw it as a visual. So I did the count reset here. I saw it as a first entry short, push up, potential second entry short. Also a lower high if you did the count the other way, like a first entry short, second entry short, push up, push back down, lower high, decent signal bar. I thought this is actually a pretty good trade. I was wanting to see a break below here. It breaks below here. I'm too slow on my entry. It pulls back up here and then it closes. And I'm thinking, well, I missed it here because if I entered right after this candle closed right here, I would have gotten my 1 point scalp. So I missed a trade and I actually chased this, which isn't a good idea. I should have just left this alone in hindsight. It ends up working out for me though. So I chased it. I shorted right here. It's hard to see the pink arrow, but it's one tick below here. It's right here. It pushes up and I thought, okay, that was probably stupid of me. I might lose this trade, especially when it next one opens and closes pretty much 2 points away from my stop loss, because my stop loss is coincidentally where this red line is right now, pretty much one tick above here. Then it reverses back down. I was lucky because the trade was after this one closed and I should have entered on this candle, but I chased it and entered on this one when this candle would have given me the scalp. So it worked out for me, fortunately. The setup was good, but the execution was poor because I waited too long. In this case, although it worked out, I should have just left it alone, skipped the trade, but it did flush down. I got the scalp. I moved my runner from here down to one tick below the pink one or my entry, and you can barely see it, but the runner got stopped out. As you can see, it's holding against this purple down channel pretty well. So I'm thinking, okay, there's these overshoots, but overall it looks like it's kind of obeying this. I was thinking at one time maybe expanding this to something like this, which could have worked. And, you know, I thought the other way was also valid. I'm gonna leave it here for now. Pushes down, it's just getting choppy, touches and rejects, and then now it's like new low, first entry short, pullback. Technically have a second entry short. This would be the first breakout then, first failed breakout of this channel drawn up here. But it's not a good signal bar. I'm just waiting now. I want a lower high inside this purple range, just like it happened here. And it actually moves up. So I'm thinking, okay, there's no short now, just wait. It's really choppy as it moves up. There's a potential failed breakout here. Now, I actually was thinking, is there some kind of range here? And also range here as it extended over. So I thought there's some kind of failed breakout of this resistance area, but it's not really setting up for anything. And there's a potential failed breakout of this green up channel. This green up channel is kind of messy. Well, I guess is what I'm trying to say, because it's just kind of moving sideways. It's just chopping, but it is showing some kind of trend moving up. So there's a failed breakout of something, either this green one and or this potential range highs or resistance areas. Pushes down, creates a lower high here. The thing I didn't really like about this lower high is, okay, so there's a failed breakout here and a failed breakout here corresponding. When I see this, I'm thinking prices might want to push back into this green range. But as I kind of learned, the first breakout on this side, I had to be very cautious taking the first, second entry going into this same original direction. But this one is more of a reversal. But even though it's a reversal, it looks like it's stalling out here. EMA isn't really helping too much. So it's just something I noticed. It's probably not even a setup. It's more like an almost. But I marked it because I did notice it and I was tempted at the time. But I wrote down, what I was thinking, what I think it was going to do. I thought it was going to go downwards. It ends up working. But again, in real time, there's just not enough confidence and not enough experience from my perspective for myself to trust that read. So it is something that I've been logging and just checking on my own notes. So in the future, if I see something like this, I can trust it more. I can know this is going to be like a false break or a potential trap. But anyways, it's marked for myself, not for anybody else, because this just corresponds to my written notes. It pushes down, 2 legs down. It's a new high. First entry long pullback, second entry long inside bar, no good. Pushes back up. Test the high. Test the high, and I actually draw this gray range because I'm thinking this gray range could be in play. Now, I did play with the low of the range being actually up here, and it ended up settling down here because as you're going to see later, it kind of tests this low side a little bit better than when it was up there. But that's not really important right now, and in real time, this was just in flux. Pushes down, it's a new high, first entry long, pull back, pushes all the way back down, comes back down, almost hits this low side, and it finally touches and reverses back up. I did see this as like a new high, first entry long, pull back. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but it looks like it's just one big leg. So it's like a first entry and then a second entry. But I actually saw this as visual in context, just localized high, just this area is high, and it makes a big move. It's a clear first entry, pullback, clear second entry. Unfortunately, this signal bar, this little doji, gives you no clear clue it's going to do that. It closes on the low side. You could argue that maybe it's going to bounce off the resistance, but this resistance isn't really valid just yet because it only was tested, I would say, one time. Yes, it was tested 2 times, but I would say it's only been tested one, and it really hasn't reached there. You don't know it's going to flush down and then reverse up so strongly, but it is a break of this red, test the low, and you're thinking maybe prices are going to come back up. Depending on how much you trusted this gray range, you could now make the argument that maybe it's going to push back up to the high side. But for me to trust that, I need a higher low to show up. It kind of pushes back down. It breaks and actually starts breaking out. So I'm thinking there's a potential fail breakout. It gets really choppy and congested. These candles are pretty much just side by side, almost the same size as well. Pushes up, and then he gets this really gigantic candle. This is like gigantic with respect to today's price action, 7 points. Pushes all the way back up. It hits the high side. So I'm watching this really carefully now. I'm thinking, okay, this gray range is in play. This is the range that I should be looking at. Anytime a setup comes up here with some key entry points, good setup, I should take a short. Same thing, take a long on the low side. I think the overall bias is still bullish. So it pushed up, it's moving sideways. It looks like it's almost like one leg down, pull back, second leg. I'm expecting another potential leg up on here. But as you know earlier, after hindsight, we know it's kind of becomes an M structure. It's going to head back down, but I don't know it at the time. Getting congested, starts flushing down. Technically, you have a new high. Now, you could say it's a first entry long, but it never broke below here. So I just count this as a localized high. And I said, this is a clear first entry long pullback, potential second entry long, and potential triple test. I actually thought this was a possible trade because it looks like it is 2 legs down, 1 leg down, pullback, potential second leg down. It's failing to break below here. EMA is acting as support, potential bottom of the range, enough room to the high, decent signal bar, second entry long, and triple test. Which, of course, I didn't know it was going to do that, though. So it pushes up. Now I'm not looking to go long because I'm thinking if this is in the range, then this is going to be the high side. Creates a doji. Then it creates pretty much a second doji, even though there's a small body here. Pushes up. So I'm thinking, is it going to break out of this range? And it does. Pushes up. Creates a potential fail breakout because it reverses really strongly. I'm wondering if it's going to push back into this range. It starts moving back into range. Looks like it stalls a little bit. I'm seeing 1 leg down, pullback, potential second leg down. If it hits here, I'm thinking there might be a trade here. Pushes down. It falls short, but it is a second entry long. Thought it was a possible trade, but I didn't want to jump in on this until I saw what happened on the next candle because it's right below the EMA, or right at the EMA. EMA, for the most part, is inconsistent. You can rely on it sometimes and you can't rely on it other times. Right now, it's just sideways because you have prices moving above it and below it, which is telling me it's pretty much range rules and not really trend line rules. So range rules, the EMA, when it's flat like this, doesn't matter as much. Now, context-wise, it didn't quite hit the measure move. Not that it has to, but I would have wanted this candle to come down, at least touch this bottom of the range support. This, see if I can highlight it. This guy here. I want it to come down and touch this if possible, and then push back up. So I was hoping for another candle down, hit here, and then close just like this guy. So it kind of does that red now, pushes down, and unfortunately never makes it down. It does create and give you a higher low, but it's an almost trade. So it's like a first entry long, pull back, second entry long, pull back on the same candle, breaks below this guy, engulfs and closes, pushes back up. So it is a higher low. I didn't like it to take a trade off of it because I'm really close to the high of day. And if this range is in play, I'd be buying into the potential high of this range. So it's just kind of sit on hands. I did establish that this yellow up channel might exist because this could be a fail breakout here. That's why I had a fail breakout. And then of course later I dragged it upwards. But let's just keep it here for now. The potential fail breakout, bottom of the range. I wanted a higher close, and I would have trusted it a little bit more. So you have to sit through this if you did take it. Then as it comes a failed second entry short, localized low, first entry short, pullback, second entry short failure, almost trade, because if this yellow up channel is in play, I might hit some kind of resistance area here. So I'm not too keen on something like that. Pushes up, creates a new high of day, another new high of day, pushes back down. EMA looks like it's starting to hold as support now. So the EMA is this blue line here. Prices are kind of respecting it. Pushes back up. No setups. Breaks below, kind of holds. So I'm thinking this yellow up channel is in play. This fail breakout can probably be extended now to something like this because it actually has better touch here, better touch here, better touch here. So I'm thinking this yellow up channel is in play. So it's like first entry long, pullback, and then you don't get a second entry long. It just breaks through. So now I'm not looking for longs. It looks like I was moving down this green down channel, break and test the low, but this leg is pretty much the same size as this leg, so I expanded my channel to this purple one. So this green one doesn't seem like it's in play anymore. Like it was in real time, but now just to clear up my chart. Break, it's a first entry short. Pull back. You technically have a second entry short here. It's above the EMA though. Although the EMA isn't reliable, it's just not. It takes away from any possible reason I thought of going necessarily long or going short, just because it's a little ambiguous. Then it gives you a clear signal, gives you a lower high. So I'm thinking this purple channel is in play. Broke out. It looks like there was one attempt at the low. This is the second attempt. So it looks like it was two legs up. This could be a third attempt. It was a lower high. I entered this trade because I like that it's confirming the second entry short. I think this purple down channel needs to test the low. I'm not that believing, or I don't believe that much that this yellow up channel is going to break and test the high because it's so shallow. It's not really too valid as a range at this point, and I'm not sure prices are going to respect or come back and have memory of this. So I'm actually thinking it's going to go back down. That's the low of this channel. So I actually entered on the engulfing. So it opened here, is doing its thing, flushes down, creates a low. Actually, I took it right on the engulfing because I took it right when this 2000 tick was almost going to close. And I thought unless it has a flash move back up, this is a trade I'm willing to jump in on. Now, the more conservative approach would be to wait for this candle to close, then enter, and you'd enter on this candle. But I trusted the setup or my read enough that I took it on the engulfing, and it fortunately closed at the low, pushes down, gives you the 1 point scalp, which is my exit here. I move my stop loss from up here all the way back down to one tick below the entry, and unfortunately it pulls back and stops me out. Now, I have been debating that, do I move my stop too soon? Because if I waited longer, eventually would have gotten out of this stop out point or the break even point and closed down here. But I just following the rules, once my profit target has been met, I do move my stop loss of my runner immediately down because I don't want this candle giving me my profit target and then giving back some of that profit, because this candle easily could have just moved right back up, and then eventually take out my stop loss. So in most of the time, most of the cases, my runner gets stopped out pretty much on the same candle. So I'm okay with that because there will be times when I'm fortunate enough that it will keep running, because I looked at after the fact and I thought, oh man, if I could have just waited, or if I was slower on moving the stop, I could have just chased this down one tick behind these guys and likely gotten stopped out here, but would have given me like 3 more points. But that's neither here nor there. Just being profitable, being happy, move along. So then prices hit the low, break this purple down channel, tests the low, starts moving back up, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short up here, but this is too early. because I don't have this range established yet. It pushes up, potential fail breakout of this range, but this range doesn't exist yet. It is a push on this orange up channel and starts reversing back down. And it gives you a lower high, but again, it's almost trade. It's lower high, but I saw it in real time. I thought about it, but I don't like it for the following reason. There's a potential support here. Looks like a visual in larger context. First entry short, push up. Second entry short, push up, and then close back down. Decent signal bar. It could be in this green down channel, enough room to the low. But what was stopping me was potentially this support, because this is such a clean double bottom here that I wasn't sure that was going to break through. It is good momentum because I was afraid that even with a 1 point scalp, if it's going to move like less than 1 point, then reverse back up. So didn't take it, pushes back down, break on the low side. So first entry short, this is just a gigantic candle. I noticed this in real time. I was thinking at the time, can I count this as a second entry short? And I really can't, but I marked it because a first entry short pullback. This guy, this big red candle never ticks above this guy. If you're looking at a smaller tick time frame, you could argue for a second entry short. It could be a first entry short, opens here, closes here, opens here, flushes down. So it could be a first entry short pullback, second entry short, but I really wanted this tick above here. If this candle had ticked one tick above and closed the same way, engulfing this guy, I think I would have jumped on it. But in this case, I wanted to see a break on this one below here. So I would have had my order ready right at the lows here. This one would have opened, never broke below, and then when it closes here, I would have canceled the order. This would have flushed down, probably filled me, but it's debatable whether I would have gotten out for the scalp. But then this one definitely would have. But in real time, I just couldn't take it. I wanted it one tick above, and it didn't hit it, so I couldn't take it. So prices continue moving down. It looks like it's two legs down, two kind of dispersed legs down, pushes down, it's a new low. Say first entry short, pullback. You have a second entry short here. I really wanted to touch off the EMA, but unfortunately never happened. And I was thinking if this orange up channel is in play, there's no real room to scalp here. But I could see that this could have trapped some people, because if you're thinking this red down channel needs to test the low, it was first attempt. This could be the second attempt. But again, I wasn't too sure because these legs look like it could just be one big leg instead of two smaller ones. If I took it, I think I would have gotten stopped out by one of these candles. Pushes up, breaks above, and it starts moving sideways, kind of consolidating, then it flushes back down. I drew this red or this transparent channel because I was thinking, is this channel in play? It touches once, touches twice, arguably a third time, then it has a small little spike above. Low side is hard to confirm because it really only touched one time. So it was something I was thinking was going to be potentially in play. Break of the green down channel, test the low, pushes back up. Now I'm thinking this channel, at least this high side resistance, could be in play because it looks like it's being respected somewhat. Unfortunately, nothing sets up here, and you don't get a second entry set up here. So it pushes back down, pushes down to the low side. It's a first entry short, pull back. You have a second entry short here. It's a bad signal bar though. It's moving sideways now, clearly sideways. It's entering the last 30 minutes of the day. It's a potential fail breakout, but no setup. Now it's too late in the day to try to take anything. And I was already just pretty satisfied with my two trades, even with one being a poor decision because I chased it. It was this one. Chased this trade, was lucky it worked out. Got a second trade and just be pretty much happy and not going to try to make anything happen, get greedy and try to make another trade or find another trade in the last 30 minutes. It looks like it's falling range. You do get a lower high here, but it's just too late in the day to try to take. It's a nice setup though, because you could think clearly it's probably going to push back down. Even if your range is a little higher, say about right here, you have enough for 1 point scalp. And if you're playing this larger range, all the times it broke out, it looks like it's coming back down. So it had things going for it, except for the time of day. Then it continues pushing another failed breakout corresponding to this one. Looks like it's two legs down, but again, now it's definitely too late because the last 10 minutes, and it kind of pushes sideways into the close. So it was noticeably slower than yesterday, but it wasn't, I don't think, necessarily more challenging. It was a little cleaner, less trappy, I guess, but it was kind of a slow grinding day. So hopefully that was helpful.